Separate question about what you said. You spend a lot of your time in your less important companies, or companies aren't doing so well. I was wondering, like, how today it sounds like Twitter gets all the attention, and there's not a lot of attention to a lot of the other portfolio companies you manage. How do you divide your time? How do you keep your attention together?
Well, I think first of all, we divide up our portfolio inside our firm, and there's a partner who's responsible for each and every investment. So we have 3 partners in our firm. We have roughly 24 active portfolio companies, so that's roughly 8 deals per partner. But then, we actually have an approach which says that every deal is everybody's deal. So try very hard not to do your deal, my deal, because that I think is very bad when firms end up in that place. So the reason I mention that is I care about the entire portfolio and I pay attention to what's going on in the entire portfolio, but I have a responsibility to my partners and my co-investors and the management teams for 8 companies, not 24. And then among those 8 companies, I try to divide my time up as equally as possible, because I don't think that I don't think that the as I said before, I don't think the amount of time that you invest in a specific portfolio company has a lot of correlation to the return you get. I think the quality of the management team and the quality of the market opportunity have a lot to do with the return you get. But I think that we have a certain obligation to try to make each and every investment work. We have an obligation to our limited partners, we have an obligation to our co-investors, and we have an obligation to the entrepreneurs who allowed us to invest in their company as opposed to somebody else. So there's a reputation issue, and I think that's very important. And so if I decided that we had 3 companies in our portfolio where all the returns were going to come from, and that may well be the case, and decided to just stop going to board meetings on every other company, we might end up with great returns, but we probably wouldn't see another deal because people would say, well, you can't do business with those guys because they orphan their companies, and move on, to other things. So I don't believe in orphaning companies, and so I feel like we have to apply an equal amount of effort to each and every investment. It doesn't end up working exactly that way. The companies that are in San Francisco and in Europe, we have 3 companies in Europe and 4 companies in San Francisco, definitely get less of our time than the companies in New York. And the companies in New York that are the neediest get more of our time than the companies that are extremely self-sufficient. Even though I try to give each and every company an equal amount of effort, it ends up not really working out that way.
You mentioned how you see the future of venture capital getting a little more specific as far as domain, et cetera. For someone who's looking into it, how specific do you think it's going to be to sort of get entry into the classes or acquire advanced degrees and whatever it happens to be your domain is?
I don't know that.
Sort of work around.
I don't know that you need to be a domain expert when you come into the business. But what I would suggest is go to work for a firm that believes in domain expertise and become a domain expert. Seek out a sector that that firm, or seek out a sector that is interesting to you, that you're passionate about, that you know something about. You don't necessarily have to be an expert, and become an expert in that. And I don't think it's that hard if you're curious and bright and have the right support from your firm to become an expert in a relatively short period of time, say 5 years, by looking at a lot of deals, going to a lot of conferences, doing a lot of networking. I actually think the most important skill set in the venture business is networking, more so than raw intelligence, more so than analytical skills. I think that the most successful VCs are the ones who are hyper-connected, who are touching as many opportunities at any time, who have the biggest Rolodexes, who know how to check somebody out, who know how to make the 3 right phone calls to check somebody out or to check out a technology. And that's all largely networking skills, just knowing how to just build relationships and work on them and keep them vibrant and healthy.